All right. So good evening, everyone. Oh, wow. Kemi says breathing. Bridget says calm. Justina says excellent. Ah, holiday is good, though. I'm loving this. I'm loving this. Like, seriously, I'm loving this. I want two more, two more. I think we are about, how many of us are in the room right now? Okay. We have a good number for us to start. Enthusiastic. Wow, 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 wow. Well done, Friday. Well done. Fantastic, amazing. Oh, beautiful. That's great. It's so good to know that a lot of us are feeling very good this evening. So nobody even bothered to ask, how am I feeling? Nobody bothered to ask. This life is not balanced, so. So how are you feeling? How are you feeling? How are you feeling? For those that are just joining in, how are you feeling? How are you doing? Excellent, enthusiastic. So let's get to hear from others. How are you feeling? Not to worry, this session is not going to take more than an hour, but please ensure that you have your questions ready because I know middle leaders have a lot of questions most of the time, and it's usually very amazing and interesting that you know um, they don't get listened to, they don't get heard most of the time. Please do rename your device if you are just joining in. It's important that we have a great and fantastic evening. Oh, Madam Rose, great Dr. T. Yes, so I am great. I embrace it with my full chest. So we are 11 right now, and on the group we're about 50 something. So you may want to nudge others. It's very important that everybody joins the session because I have something amazing to share with every one of us. Okay, so I'm not going to be taking so much of our time. I'm just going to be talking about something that I know is very dear to the middle leaders' heart. The first time we embarked, what made us embark on this is very simple. We carried out a mini research, and we discovered that most times senior leaders, please give me a minute. We discovered that most times senior leaders, they have opportunity to train themselves, they can afford the fees and what have you. However, we discovered that most of the time, teachers and employees also do a lot in their personal development because they know it's very critical to their promotion and promotion most of the time and moving to the next level in their career. However, middle leaders have a lot of challenges which stems from, not having adequate time, first off, to develop themselves. And number two, a lot of times they don't even understand what exactly is their role because this minute they are asked to do this, the next minute. So mostly middle leaders complain that their roles are not well defined in most cases. And we got a lot of feedback as well as regarding them not being effectively equipped on the job as to what to do. Because most middle leaders get promoted. Why? Because of their personal effectiveness. And so they have they are personally effective. They have mastered personal or self-leadership. But then when it comes to the aspect of having to work with others to then achieve their goals, which oftentimes um, that's the way they are being, their KPIs is now based on how they're able to effectively walk through people to be able to, achieve their own goals within the organization. They get confused because oftentimes they don't even actually know how to go about this, how to begin to lead others effectively as much as they have been able to effectively lead themselves. Because they are actually two separate things. So today we're just going to be laying a fundamental understanding on, how middle leaders can then begin their journey into leadership development, especially leading providing support and leadership development for people on their team. Because as a middle leader, you are a major interface between, the senior leadership and the employees. So there's a lot of pressure. If I'm saying your mind, please type yes in the comment section. There's a lot of pressure coming from those above. There's a lot of pressure coming from, those you are leading. So if I have actually succinctly captured your challenges, please type a yes in the comment section. I'll need 4 years before I will continue on this conversation. Minimum of 4 years before I will continue on this conversation. I want to be sure that I have been able to properly encapsulate, what we have discovered to be a major problem. Somebody decided to put yes, 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 yes. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And that's why, as much as possible, we would also share this video on YouTube. You would want to share the link with your friends that are fellow middle leaders. You want to also make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And then we have something very fantastic for you towards the middle of the seminar today. So I'm not going to be using my slides. I'm just going to be using my whiteboard. I'm going to be using my whiteboard because I don't subscribe already. Thank you, Kevin. I want to use my whiteboard because, I want us to be able to, have some very, very beautiful conversation around this. And I know slide is something that we are all used to, but today, I want us to be able to say some very, heart-to-heart conversation. So the truth is that leadership development for middle leaders in schools is the process of improving the skills, knowledge, and ability of middle leaders in order to enhance their effectiveness and improve school performance. Middle leaders in schools are individuals who hold leadership roles and are responsible for managing and leading teams, departments, or functions within school. So you can see now that this is clearly helping to clarify what exactly it is that you should be able to do effectively as a leader, whether in a school or an organization. So all you just need to do is to remove the school element if you are not directly working in a school. But I know most of us here are educators, whether in the nursery, primary, secondary, or tertiary institutions. So you want to make sure that what you are doing as a middle leader is you are improving the skills, right? Get that knowledge and ability of yourself, number one, and then your team. So I want you to type in the chat section 3 major things you need to improve on. Everybody, type in the comment section 3 major things you need to improve on as a middle leader. I want to see them. I want to see them. I want to see them so that we can continue our conversation. 3 major things. Just type the beginning of the letters. Skills, knowledge, and ability. I think when you use acronyms, what that helps you to do is it helps you to fundamentally, have it at your fingertips. So I want to see your responses in the chat box. What are the 3 major things that you need to improve, both for yourself and the members of your team, right? Okay, so what are those 3 things? So I mentioned the first one is what? Skills, which starts with the letter S. The second one is knowledge, which starts with the letter K. The third one is ability. So in the scheme of every other thing that you are doing as a middle leader, remember that you're expected to improve on your own skills. SKA, I love that. Thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you so much, Adewumi Daniel. Just be sure that Thank you so much. That in the scheme of everything you are doing, you have this at the front of your mind, not at the back of your mind, that you need to improve the skills, the knowledge, and the abilities of yourself and that of your team. Okay. Why? Why is that important? Because you need to enhance their effectiveness and improve performance or school performance. Now, the next thing I want us to do in the task for me is I need somebody to define what is skill. I need somebody else to define what is knowledge. And I need somebody else to define what is ability. So while we are doing that, I would continue. Now, middle leaders, whether in schools or organizations, are individuals who hold leadership roles, right? And the thing is, middle leaders hold leadership roles and are responsible. So it's not enough for you to hold leadership roles because John C. Maxwell says that positional leadership is the lowest level of leadership. That every leader must then seek to do what? Ensure he or she develops his or her leadership capacity to the point where people will follow them even without you enforcing it. So, whilst you are developing your skill, your knowledge and abilities, and that of the people on your team, it is also very important that you do that for yourself and your team members. And know that, yes, thank you, Winifred. Winifred says, skill is the ability to perform a task excellently well. Fantastic. Well done, Winifred. This is amazing. Ability to perform a task excellently well. So I love simplicity. I need somebody else to define what is knowledge. And I need somebody to define what is abilities, right? So whilst I wait for that, I continue on my thoughts. So you need to also know that you hold leadership roles, but that should not be what should be in your head. Holding a leadership role is the least that should be your motivation. But the aspect of the responsibility, right? The aspect of the responsibility. And then you are at this point in time, you are not only managing yourself. This is very important because you are in charge of not only managing, but leading teams, departments, and functions within a school or an organization. Now, there is a difference between managing and leading. You manage resources, you lead people. Can you type it in the chat session? You manage resources, you lead people. So both is essential for you, right, as a middle leader. You manage resources and you lead people because you need both resources and people to get things done. Thank you so much, Justina. Justina says, ability is the talent or proficiency in a particular area. Okay? It is a talent or proficiency in a particular area. So I want us to then look at the definition of knowledge. Once we take a look at the definition of knowledge, we will then proceed to the next conversation. Okay? So Emmanuel, you have been made co-host. Please help work on interferences as well as the core skills admin line. Bridget, please also work on interference so that we can have a smooth session this evening. So I need someone to define what exactly is knowledge, right? So that is very, very important. Being able to know that you lead people, but you manage resources. This can be a game changer for you. So before I continue, I want to let you know that I have some books that I've written around leadership that it's a must read for everyone on the call. We have both in hard and soft copies. So please contact the admin on the WhatsApp group once we are done. The first book is Personal Leadership for Educators, and it's called The Educator's Guide for Professional and Personal Makeover. So yes, I know a lot of us have, to a large extent, we've been able to have a good hang on our personal leadership or our self-leadership, and that's why most of us are middle leaders already. However, there is still a lot more to learn. And guess what? The more you develop your personal leadership quotient, the better you are equipped to lead your team. You have to know that that is very, very important for you to know. Then, secondly, I have the book called The School Leaders Toolkit. If you don't have this book in your repertoire, I don't know what exactly you're doing as a middle leader, because this book contains templates. In fact, it is a course on its own that is going to show you how to effectively lead as a middle leader and even a senior leader in your organization. So this is very, very crucial. Then one of the best gifts you can give your team is to acquire mentoring skills. Now, I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and it was saying that when you are looking for being trained, okay, training is about acquiring skills. Mentorship is about getting the right advice and support. And then coaching is about using questioning to draw out the innate potential in individuals and in teams. So if you really want that to stick, I think you should use the chat box to type what I've just said. I'm going to repeat myself because there are some things that I'm saying intentionally because I need us to know so that we can be effective and remember and do exceptionally well in our performances. So I said training is about acquiring skills or reinforcing skills that you have already. Mentoring is about being able to get support and guidance to be able to do something better or a lot more effective. By the way, I've been a mentor since 2017. You may also want to reach out to me or any of the admins on the WhatsApp group to ask how you can get mentored. We have a cohort presently running, and it's been an amazing time being a mentor. And the beautiful thing about our mentoring program is that, yes, though it's a 6-week structured program, you still then have access to me. I prioritize you, even when I see messages, even after you're done with the 6 weeks mentoring. And of course, we have coaching is ability to ask the right questions, to draw out the innate potentials within a human being or a team. Okay, so that's very, very important. So as I was talking about this book, first is in mentoring, what you need to know about mentoring opportunities, whether as a mentor or as a mentee. Every time in your life, you must find yourself being a mentor or a mentee, right? Because I always say, if you're a mentor, to draw out innate potential in individuals or team, using the power of questioning to draw out potentials, innate potentials in individuals or team, that is coaching. Well done, Rose. Thank you so much for typing in the chat. And then for educators that want to become education consultants, at least for every career path, you must have the big picture. So for some other middle leaders, their big picture is to own their own schools. For some other middle leaders, their own big picture is to become an education consultant. So whatever is the big picture for you, we have got you covered, right? And it says the guide to get you started, established and flourishing as an education consultant. And this book was forwarded by the immediate personal commissioner for education in Lagos State. So you may want to get your copy, and that will be super amazing. So let me go back to my chat because I can see a lot of chats has come in. So let's go again to the revision of what skills, ability, and knowledge is all about. So we said skill is the ability to perform a task excellently well. Ability is a talent or proficiency in a particular area. And then Justina also shared what knowledge is. It says facts, information, and skills acquired through experience or education. So always remember SKA, right? Every single time you are functioning as a middle leader, the S means that you have to develop your skills, your leadership skills, and that of your team. The K means that you must get relevant information, all right? You must continue to develop your skills through experience or education. So every experience, the good, the bad, the ugly, right, is something that you should put together to then bring out what exactly you learned from it. Okay. You need to also be able to think about the good ones because you want to repeat the process of the fact that you did something well. You want to repeat success. So you need to be able to reflect on the good as well as the bad. And then, of course, when you consider the aspect of having to think about your abilities, then you want to carry out different psychometric tests. Take time to know who you really are and what your innate abilities are. Now, this is one of the things we do at the Core Skills Mentoring Program. The first 1 week, we run you through 13 to 14 psychometric tests that would help you discover your proficiency, your inner talent. And it's not just for you to be efficient at the job, it's also for you to be able to identify opportunities and maximize them. Awesome, people. Awesome. So I'm going to go back to my whiteboard and share my next set of thoughts. If I'm making sense, please type in the chat session ML, middle leader, middle leader, middle leader. If you're already getting value and learning something, right? Please let me know. Let me know. All right. Not to worry, in another 30 minutes, we are going to be out of here. But just stay with me and make sure you are taking your notes and you're learning as much as you can. All right. So I move to the next aspect of my talk. Thank you, Adeomi Daniel. This is amazing. Don't worry, I'll get to introduce myself at the end of this conversation. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing my next thoughts with every one of us, and I just want us to follow through with me, okay? I'm driving at somewhere, So, one of the things that we need to consider oftentimes as middle leaders, we need to critically consider, right, how and why we are very important in an organization. The first thing is without middle leaders, there won't be improvement of school performance, right? So you are very, very pivotal. Yeah, give me a minute. I'm trying to change my network now. Can you still hear me? Sure. Like I said, I'm very, very sorry that, it's Nigeria, right? And things happen. So I got thrown out because I was on a Wi-Fi. And so right now I had to change my source of internet. Okay. So thank you so much for still waiting on while I had that power cord. And then my whiteboard is still trying to load. So okay, let me just, okay. So I think it's coming on any moment from now. Yeah. So I remember I was talking about how essential we as middle leaders are, when it comes to leading teams and leading organizations, and why we cannot be, we are quite indispensable. So maybe you did not know before now, you may feel that maybe I'm just leading a small group of people. You have to be able to make sure that you do it better now that you know how much you are worth, both to the organization and to the learning outcomes of your students, and then, overall goals of the team. So of course, like you can see on the board here, the first thing is you are like the core person when it comes to improving overall performance within the organization, okay? You are a very key individual. You are very pivotal in making sure that things go smoothly as they ought to. So please don't ever underestimate what you're capable of. And one of these things is that you need to improve your skills around decision making, communication. So if you are looking for areas of personal development, right, you want to be able to consider decision making, improve communication, increase productivity. You are also like a pipeline. Do you know what it means to be a pipeline? Does a pipeline ever run dry? I don't think so. You are a major pipeline to ensure that the organization and the school, right, and leaders who are ready, to step up into their leadership role as needed. So people are looking up to you. They're like a model. You're right. Your work is also to enhance staff engagement, teacher engagement, and retention. So your middle leadership, as leadership development as a middle school leader, it's very important that you enhance teacher engagement and retention by demonstrating your commitment to the growth and development of its leaders. So every class teacher is also a leader in their own classroom, right? But then remember, what are the three acronyms that we have? Can somebody help me again? The three acronyms that we have, like I said, once you think about your role, you have to think about those three letters. What are they again? Can somebody help me with that? SKA, beautiful. S representing, somebody help us. S representing, your S representing skill, fantastic. Your K representing knowledge, amazing. And then the last one is what? The A is what? Your abilities. And we have defined that. So sorry for those that are just joining in, you will have to watch the replay. And then it is important that you foster collaboration of continuous learning, right? You have to lead in a more innovative, adaptable, and resilient way because you determine that within the school and within different organizations. And then the elements of effective leadership programs in middle school, I'm going to be sharing what they are shortly. So I'm going to be turning this off because we are done with this. And then we're going to be looking at what these essential skills are. So that is going to lead me to share my screen. I'm going to share my screen shortly because I needed to show us what are the major areas we need to concentrate on, right, as middle leaders that can never be overemphasized, right? So I'm going to be showing us these areas. So get your pen, get your paper. You may want to do a screenshot. It is very important. If you have been distracted before now, please, it is essential that you have to focus because this thing I'm going to be sharing with you is very, very critical, okay? So I'm going to sharing that immediately now. All right, so my screen should be coming on any moment from now. Yes, 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 yes. I think there's a bit of delay in network. Technology of things, but it's going to be getting up shortly. All right. So, who can tell me one or two things that you have learned so far that is making a lot of sense to you? Because sincerely, it's been a lot of work putting these together. I may have to stop share and reload that page. So please just allow me to do that so that we don't just keep waiting aimlessly. I guess the network I was using prior to now was a lot more stronger. So please, you just permit me to reload the page so that we can have a seamless. Yes, it's fantastic. The page has reloaded now. So please, in the scheme of things, especially for those of us that are educators, we cannot overlook these areas that I'm going to be sharing with us shortly. And so it's very important for us to take cognizance of the things I'm going to be showing us, right? Okay, so I've decided to find another way around it. Yeah, share screen. There you go. Okay. Okay, so I'm sure we can see my screen. So you see this 6 major areas that you can see on the screen. Yeah, I think my screen is on now. Please, if you can see my screen, do confirm. You can see my screen, confirm in the comment section if you can see my screen. So I guess everybody should be seeing my screen because I can see it showing now. So the first thing, yes, beautiful. We need to consider is leadership development. Thank you, Adeomi Daniel. And that is what we have been taking a very close look at. So it's as good as I've given all of us the first module for free, and a lot of us are learning so much already, right? So leadership development, learning outcomes, all right? The next one you have to consider is instructional leadership. That is called the leadership of learning or pedagogy. Leading change and learning outcomes is another very important area because a lot of middle leaders are unable to lead change. This is because they get confronted, especially if you were promoted as a middle leader in the midst of your other contemporaries, where they knew your history, they knew where you came into the school, they knew how you started, and they're like, oh, so you're the one that wants to effect change. There is a science and an art to it. Then you want to look at building and empowering high performing teams. It is not enough for you to be able to equip your team with skills, with knowledge, and with ability. How would you go about ensuring that every individual member of the team work together to harness the potential that is within the individual and then work collaboratively to become a high performing team? Where we have the aspect of the data instructional leadership for enhancing student outcomes. A lot of middle leaders don't even know how to collect data, how to interpret data, how to analyze data, and then how to use data for informed decisions. So you want to be a middle leader that is with a difference. Imagine if at the end of the session, you are able to provide adequate data for the school management and say, this is what I've been able to work. What will happen? They will be literally blown away. You don't even know how that is going to affect your promotion and your income. And even if the school you're working with presently do not even appreciate you for that, do you know that that same skill you can you can train other middle leaders. You can even get to other schools and then even offer it as a side gig. Ha! You don't understand. So I used to tell people that educators that complain about salary, and it's because you are a lazy educator or you are a lazy middle leader. So this is also a very important aspect. And then how do you then ensure that the entire group collaborates and you build successful teams? Now we have put together a 5 intensive weeks of mentoring and coaching for middle leaders. So it is not just about you taking the lessons or taking the content. Okay, are you still with me? I guess I was, maybe I'll have to go back to share my screen because I can see that I can see that I'm back on. What? Today. Can you hear me now? Don't worry, I think I'm back.
Yes, we can hear you.
They're like they say village people, but no village people can hold me. It's just a very funny experience. My network just keeps tripping off. Okay, so I'm back to sharing my screen. I'd like to know, what was the last thing you heard me say? Can somebody just help me so that I can pick up from there? Because I just noticed that. What was the last thing you heard me say? I need someone to help me.
Okay, good evening, doctor. You were talking
Yes.
about leading change. We're on
Okay.
the third leading change and
Okay.
learning
Oh,
outcomes.
so you didn't even hear me talk about data-driven instruction.
No.
Oh God,
We're
I've just
trying
been
to explain. We're trying to explain a situation where people on the same level of work, one
yes,
got promoted to
exactly.
a higher
Okay.
level, and what could be
Absolutely.
the reaction
Oh
of
yeah.
the colleagues and what the person should prepare for.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. This is super amazing. Thank you so much. All right, so I'll continue from there. So I was talking about leading change and learning outcome. And yes, so I'll then move on to building and empowering high-performing teams. So in as much as you use your skills, knowledge, and abilities, both yours and that of your team, to then help develop, a high performing team, I mean individuals, that is people that are on your team, you need to then know the arts and the science of how to then ensure that these people can then work together to build high performing teams. In fact, building high performing teams is an entire course on its own. And I've been privileged to run short trainings with almost 5 or 6 schools. I mean, it's a very intensive part of the course. And then I was already talking about how then do you use data-driven instructional leadership to enhance student outcomes. So I was saying that when it comes to data-driven instructional leadership, a lot of middle leaders don't even know how to identify which data they need to collect. So identification of data, number one, is even something that people don't understand, especially middle leaders. Aside from the identification of data, we then have you being able to effectively collect data. then to the place of analyzing data, then to the place of implementing the data, then to the place of using the data, evaluating it, and then using it to make informed decision going forward. So I was saying that if you're able to sign up for this 5 weeks mentoring and coaching program, you can even use this skill in your school. Imagine at the end of the term or at the end of the session as a middle leader, while you're submitting your report, you are then able to give the school quantitative and qualitative data of all that happened, because you're going to be taught through the kind of data you're supposed to identify, how you're going to go about it in this particular module. You then present it to the school and say, hey, this is what I've been able to come up with. What do you think will happen? This can be a very pivotal tool for your promotion, for your improvement. Even if the school does not even recognize your efforts, nobody can take this skill away from you. You can then begin to train other middle leaders, because how many middle leaders can I train sincerely? You can then begin to train other middle leaders on how they can have data-driven instructional leadership and collect your money, earn your money. You can also begin to do this for other schools and go into their school, help them identify their data, what the instructional data are, do the analysis for them, and earn from it. So I used to say that educators that are poor are educators that are not skilled. By the grace of God, I'm an educator. And I'm a millionaire. I'm unapologetic about it. Why? Because I'm always creating, because I'm skilled. I'm on one course or the other. I'm checking out for my skills. I'm improving my knowledge, and I'm developing my abilities. So there's a lot you can learn. There is a lot you can do outside the normal teaching and learning. This is an area that a lot of schools don't even look at. Do you know, even if you're a school leader or a school owner in this place, this is part of what you can even use to be your value proposition. You say in this school, we offer data-driven instructions for student outcomes. How about that? Then the aspect of then collaboration and team building across boards, whether it's just a few number of people or a large number of people. If you want to go fast, you can go alone. But if you want to go far, you have to go with people. And I always say that my job is on a geometric scale, because I want to empower the empowerer. Let me put it like that, if there's any grammar like that. I love to give what is needful for people that can go around and do it. How many schools can I visit? How many schools can my organization serve? But that is why I always think on the second and the third dimension of impact, where I can empower people that can then do the groundwork and go around schools, go around states, go around other nations of the world and share this insightful knowledge. How about that? So this program is running between the 8th of April, which is next week, Monday, not this immediate Monday, upper Monday, till 11th of May. And aside from, it's a beautiful thing because the methodology is self-paced. For those that have attended our program before, I think I have Mr. Joseph Effiong here, Kemi, and some other people. You discover that you are able to work within your jurisdiction, only that by 11th of May, you have to finish, because we'll be checking on you virtually every day. And then we'll have the final Q&A. So the investment for this 5 intensive week is 50,000. But guess what? If you can pay your first installment, that is 20,000 in the next 24 hours, you will be paying 40,000 for this program. And once we have 5 people that have done that, we are going to close it up. So if you can make 20% deposit between now and 6 p.m. tomorrow, you have this deal signed, sealed, and good to go. So please, it is important that, Bridget, if you're on the call, please make sure you drop the flyer and the account details and let people get on it. But if you are paying after 6 p.m. tomorrow, please don't come and enter my inbox. You will pay 50,000 naira, full money, right? So this is what we are giving you. This is what we are offering you on a platter. And I'm sure, yes. So we're going to send the flyer on the WhatsApp group now. Let me just check. And please also invite your friend. If you are able to get some of your friends to join in, okay, what would happen is that the beautiful thing is you are then also able to negotiate better with us, right? And that is just the fantastic and amazing thing. So I've dropped the flyer on the group and I've dropped the account details. So if you're willing and ready to pay, that is it. Yes, sweet, 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 sweet. And you can imagine you can increase your earning power and all that you want to get done. So I continue with the conversation. And for those that joined us a bit late, you may want to please ensure you watch the replay. Right? So I'm getting my whiteboard on again so that we can then wrap up this conversation. Like I said, our free session, we do not exceed an hour because we know this is holiday and people are busy, but hey, we have to do what we have to do. So I'm also going to be showing you some other areas that you need to set goals. So if you are a middle leader and you don't know how to set goals, I don't know how to help you. Well, I know how to help you. So we have we have a course on goal setting. We also have what do we call it now? A workbook on goal setting. You were lost, you'll be found and you'll be back. So you have to catch the replay because I don't want to disturb, I don't want to delay other people. Oh, okay, Mr. Joseph, we will have the conversation when we are done. So the cost of the program is 50,000 naira, but if you are paying between now and if you are paying between now and what is it called? 6 p.m. tomorrow, you get it for, if you pay 20,000, which is your first installment, right? You can then have it for 40,000 naira. But we are getting started on the 8th of April so that people will not start disturbing me on Monday. Dr. Tony, where's the course? So we are starting 8th of April. We know that people still want to take some time to breathe, to enjoy a bit of their holiday and all of that. So these are the areas you need to be able to set very important goals. Number one, as a middle leader, it is important to set goals around needs assessment. So you need to conduct need assessment to identify specific skills, knowledge, and what are those moving my class board? You are reading and chopping the whole content, right? You need to carry out needs assessment. And what this needs assessment is to help you identify the skills, knowledge, and of course, abilities that you have and that you also need to develop within your team. This is very important because there is little or nothing you can do without your team and being very effective as this. Then second, you need to set smarter goals for leadership development program and what it is you want to achieve as a middle leader. And this goal should be set first. You need to set the goals for the term. Second, you need to set, for the session. Second, you need to set the goals for the term. Thirdly, you need to set the goals for a month or the first half of the school. You know, our schools have midterm breaks. The first half, what are the specific things you want to make sure happens, right? And then, of course, you also want to make sure that you set goals for the team and yourself on a weekly and daily basis. You see, setting goals is just like a muscle. The more you are able to do it, the more you get better at it. Then another thing is you want to take a critical look at the curriculum design. I'm not saying you should change the entire curriculum, right? What I'm saying is as a middle leader, you need to always be on the top of learning. What are the things that are changing? What are the new trends? What are the new things that you need to add to the existing curriculum? And ensure that you are not the only one doing this. Make sure your team members are also involved because as a team leader, if you are El Shaddai, you will soon die. So that is why it's important for you to sign up for this program so that you can know how to actually build your team and work collaborative with them. Because like I said, Prior to now, your success is dependent on how good you are able to work, how efficient and how effective you are, right? But as you progress into middle leadership, what is most critical is how you are able to work through your team to achieve your own goal as a middle. Then you have to take a look at the delivery methods. You have to check the needs and the learning styles of yourself as a middle leader and that of the people on your team. So you have to take them through things like classroom training, online learning. You have to be able to coach and mentor them on the job. So that is why I'm proposing that get those my books, read up, get knowledge, improve yourself so that you can effectively deploy your KPIs. Then you have to evaluate. You have to regularly evaluate the effectiveness of your leadership development and make adjustments as needed. So this is very, very critical for you. All right. And then the last but not the least, we are wrapping up already, is you need to develop yourself in some areas. Okay. And I'm going to share them with you shortly. What are the skills that you must have? Now we're coming back to you. You as a school leader, there are some very crucial skills you must have that is non-negotiable. All right. So if you have been contemplating and we have all the skills, we are core skills, right? So if you want to learn about these skills, just reach out to us. You make your payments, we give you access to how you can develop your area in this, you can develop yourself in this area. The first one is your leadership style and approach. In fact, the whole of the second module starts with, no, the whole of the original first module on this course starts with leadership styles and approaches. Because you need to identify your leadership styles and how you approach leadership as a person. You need to learn when to make adjustments. You need to also understand the leadership styles of your team so that you can effectively lead them. Communication and interpersonal skills is also a very crucial skill you have to learn. And then team building and management. What did I say? You lead people, you manage resources. So the fact that you are into leadership does not mean you throw management out of the room. Management is about things and resources. Leadership is about people. Then strategic planning and goal setting. This is a course on its own, like I said. I can't teach it in this module. Change management, we have it also as part of the 5 modules that I talk about. Conflict resolution is a key skills because your team members must fight. They say where 2 or 3 people are, there must be politics. Where 2 or 3 people are, there must be quarrel. We know that we say in the Christendom that God is in their midst, but in the workplace, there must be politics, right? So conflict resolution is an integral part of the 5 weeks module, which I encourage you to be a part of. Time management and productivity. This is also a course that we have. You are willing to learn about it, very important. Diversity and inclusion. The world is changing rapidly. What if you have a child whose parents are gays, lesbians, or you even have a team member? You will be shocked. It's happening, especially in very highbrow schools, and not just highbrow schools. How would you lead when you have a gay on your team? How will you lead when you have a lesbian? How will you? I'm not saying I'm supporting all this, but that's the truth staring us in the face. We have to prepare ourselves. All right. I do tell the stories of how my daughter became a friend of a child in the neighborhood, and the child's mother is a lesbian. I'm talking about a personal experience that has happened to me. So don't say all this thing that Dr. Stone is saying is about stories that does not concern us. They are broad people. Never you say that. Are you getting me? It's happening right here in our front. If this story shock you small, if it shake you small, give me a yes in the chat box. Give me a yes in the chat box. Some people are like, why are you for real? If I have not learned about diversity and inclusion, I would not have been able to manage that experience, right? If you want to ask me what I did, I said, yes. You want to ask me what I did? Let me stop recording. Are you interested in the full gist? I'll stop recording this for people that are going to watch everything. So you have to also learn about ethical leadership. So there is a type of leadership called ethical leadership, and it has a lot more to do with how you as the middle leader, yeah, shocked. Okay, I'll gist you the remaining later. You can stay on if you want to get this, but I'm going to be wrapping up by 7. How you as a middle leader can become a lot more ethical in what you do, because ethics and professionalism is very key for you as a middle leader. Basically said myself. Okay, I hope you can hear me now. So that is what the thing I want to really share from the bottom of my heart with us today. So imagine how valuable this free content is. You can now imagine if you are part of this. So we intentionally made this course cheap because this is the cheapest of our course so far. We have courses for education consultants, which is 200,000. We have for mentoring, which is 100,000. But I decided to say, you know what? For middle leaders, we're going to give it out for 50,000. And that is just it. So leadership development for middle leaders in school is an important investment for schools that want to improve their performance, develop a pipeline of future leaders, engage leadership engagement and retention, and of course, foster a culture of continuous learning and improvement. By investing in yourself and your team as a middle leader, you can build a strong, more effective team that is well equipped to meet the challenges of the future. Well equipped to meet up with the challenges of the future. So I don't know, do we have anybody meeting me for the first time? I think I would like to introduce myself to you. Maybe other team members who want to sing, you are welcome in the name of the Lord. I'm just joking, right? But I like to know if there's anybody on the call that you're like, oh, wow, this woman, I'm just meeting her for the first time. So I do not always want to take things for granted and feel as though, oh, everybody knows Dr. Toy now. Everybody should know Dr. Toy. So because of you, I'm going to be introducing myself. So you don't have to always introduce yourself at the beginning of the training, right? You can always learn to do things differently. So I want to share my screen to introduce myself and to make us see a look of what the main course is like. Let me whet your appetite. WHET. Okay, so I can see some responses coming on already. Oh, this is your first time here. Oh my God. Okay, so this is what this course looks like. You can see we have about 290 slides here already. But I'm just going to just give you a tips of the iceberg. I'm just going to scroll very fast so that you can be a part of this. Okay, so for those that don't know me, Winifred, it's nice to have you on the call. Oh no. So this thing decided to move to it. Okay. So I'm sure we are seeing what it looks like. Don't worry. If you are signing up, you are going to take your time to enjoy yourself. Okay, so a bit of introduction about me. I don't know, this thing is just running helter-skelter. Yeah, so who am I and why should I be listened to? I'm a competent, seasoned consultant. I'm a certified leadership coach and mentor and business leader. I currently serve as the CEO and lead consultant at CITAL. CITAL in short means Core Skills Transformational Academy Limited. We have a team of 9 staff and they are wonderful and so dear to my heart. I'm the CEO and the lead consultant, privileged to serve at Core Skills Transformational Academy Limited. I have my doctorate in educational planning and management from Howard University, US. I have a certificate in public leadership and policy, and I'm the senior special assistant to the director general at the Chartered Institute of Mentoring and Coaching Nigeria. I'm also a fellow at that institute, as well as the international management consultant. And then, of course, I am also a fellow at the Pan-African Consultants Association. I'm an author of 24 books, actually. At the time when I was preparing this content, I had 22 books. I'm a brand ambassador with You Listen. I'm a training and development lead for Equip Nigeria. Equip Nigeria happens to be the non-for-profit organization for John C. Maxwell. And I'm a wife and a mother of two young, astonishing leaders. And of course, I'm a recipient of several awards. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to stop sharing my screen at this time. And also, I am going to have to stop recording so that we can have that gist take place. Thank you so much for being a part of this session this evening. I do not take for granted for spending 1 hour of your evening with me. And for those that will be watching the replay, please do drop a comment in the comment section. Drop your questions there and be sure that we will answer them in time. Thank you so much for watching and bye for now.